Happy Monday, degenerates. Welcome on back to the Die Hard MMA podcast. Your host is always sitting here behind the desk, your boy Clint. Not rocking the baby blues today. However, that's because this is a break week and I frankly didn't care. We're going to be back next week, obviously, to do the breakdowns, and we are coming off of a win, so don't worry. I'm just putting a pin in it. We did win this past week. We will be rocking the baby blues next week on Monday, but this is going to be just kind of your typical chill and chat type of episode. We had UFC Shanghai this past week. We'll do a little bit of a recap on that. Quick life update for you guys. Unfortunately, you are getting the low energy version of your boy, and this is probably going to be a shorter show than normal. My grandfather has unfortunately relapsed with a heart issue. He is back in the ICU. So, my week just got real busy moving forward. I may end up having to fly out to go assist and help him. I don't even know what's going on yet at this point, but it's been very frustrating and emotional the last couple of days. So I am exhausted. So yeah, thank God the break week is here where it is, because I don't have the gas to do like your full on normal week this week. If I had to come on here and actually have, spent all weekend researching and then burn the energy being entertaining and trying to, talk to you guys about getting and betting and gambling with a guest. I had not one but two guests today that offered to come on the show to do the recap with me and to like talk about Dana White's Contender Series. And I feel bad. I apologize to you guys, the viewers, because I turned those down. I was just like, guys, I don't got it. I can't do it today. So we'll do a short one today. We'll do a quick one. Obviously, love and appreciate you guys being here for sure to support me and go through this break week. Had to give you something, right? Had to give you MMA fans something to sink your teeth into on a week where we don't really have anything going on. So we can do a recap of last week and chill with the chat and stuff like that for the most part. But then we'll keep it short. Welcome in everybody to the show. Colby, what is going on? Saying favorites parlay for Dana White's Contender Series. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. Like I said, I have not even looked at it. So as soon as we get done here, I'm going to plug in. I'm going to check out my guy Liam Picks Fights. I'm going to check out Gordo, Narco, and Brandon. I'm going to check out all the previews for Dana White's Contender Series. And, if I've got enough energy tomorrow, I'll do a little bit of research and see if I like anything. But this might be a hang it up type of week. I might just roll on by. Charles, what's going on? We got Louis, Mac Jr., Thad, Gene. Good to see you here in the chat yet again. My boy Ethan Hershey. Debt is paid. If you guys didn't see the video on the Twitter, hey, shop bets are where it's at. That's what's up. Shop bets are the best thing ever these days. That's fun stuff. So shout out Charles Johnson. I may not have gotten there with my wallet, but I appreciate him cashing the shop bet for me, so I don't have to do any drinks on the show here for you guys today. You guys, thank you very much for the prayers and the positive thoughts. Appreciate the hell out of all of you guys. Owen, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here in the chat. If you guys don't know, Owen and I recently connected. He made one of the funniest memes I've seen in a long time. He something to the effect of how I feel betting on Johnny Walker by submission, and then it's just a picture of me, my social media profile picture. So blew up pretty good. I got a good laugh out of that. Immediate follow earned for that kind of a dunk, and doing it with good humor. Love to see it. So good to see you here for the show here, Owen. Yeah. Man, Dixon, and that's what I do. You guys will always get my best effort. Even it's one of those things where, people always tell you, I need to apply this to other areas of my life, but for some reason it only seems to click for my work ethic when it comes to the podcast. But like going to the gym or whatever, you do it when you don't feel like it. You do it when you're tired. You do it when you're happy. You do it when you're exhausted. You do it when you had a good day, when you had a bad day. Just make sure you start. I need to do that when it comes to my workouts and my exercise. But when it comes to the podcast, I've got it down. So you guys may not get 100%, but you'll get me. Oh, man. Chuckles, welcome into the show. Justin Cash, what is going on? I'm looking forward to UFC Paris as well, actually. That should be a really fun one. All right. So, yeah, Dream, what a move. Unfortunately, I was still half asleep at that point. So I was not live betting the way I normally would. I was not locked in, if you will. Those of you who got in on Johnny Walker live, props to you. That was incredible. I will say I missed it by a half second. I missed it by literally a heartbeat. I saw the calf kicks working and I went to go plug in a bet. And as soon as I went to hit send, it locked. So like right when I noticed, oh shit, those calf kicks are like actually taking effect here. It was just a split second too late. Maybe if I was fully awake, I would have got there. So props to you guys for sure. Colby asking about Rampage's son. Oh my God. Like, so here's the thing. I don't want to spend too much time talking on that. You guys know me. I do my best to be a positive influence, right? I don't want to, it's really weird actually. So you guys know I want to spread positivity. I always want to make sure people are having a safe place to come and feel good, and we don't want any dissension. So I stay away from hot buzz topics like politics and all that kind of stuff. That's something that's been weird and kind of weighing on me, because I feel like, some things I should talk about, but it's like, man, that's not what this show is for. So I'm always kind of torn on it, because I want to make sure people know where I stand. I always try to stand on the right side of history with this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I don't want my podcast to become a place where there's all kinds of contention, because you get hot takes on either side of those kinds of issues all the time and stuff like that. But if you guys didn't see, Raja, I think that's how you say that. Rampage's son, he did some pro wrestling thing over the weekend, and some guy like tried to mess with him and like smashed a can on his head, or a beer bottle or something like that. Now this is the thing. I don't have all the information, so I don't know if it was an actual beer can or if it was like a stage can so that it would like smash easily, or something like that. But he obviously did not respond kindly to that. It seems like it was just a bunch of old school wrestlers having fun, and it was supposed to be like a thing he took jokingly, and he did not. And then he essentially sent the guy to the hospital. So they gave him an opportunity to jump in the ring, and he was supposed to like fake slam the guy and then win the wrestling match, right? But he like really slammed the guy, put him unconscious with the slam, and then followed up with like 22 power shots to the face. So like, we're talking the worst ref stoppage you've ever seen in MMA. Who doesn't hold a candle to this shit. He beat this man within an inch of his life and had to be pulled off of him. Like, he was going to continue. He was going to continue smashing this man's face if someone didn't jump in there and physically rip him off. The guy has broken facial bones, lost a bunch of teeth. He's stable, I guess, but he's in like critical condition. It's despicable. Like, that's the kind of, and the worst part is Twitter is such a cesspool these days. I see people actually defending this shit online, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't have disrespected him. It's like, okay. So if you boil it down all the way to the like basest bottom level, that you're like, you can't let someone get away with disrespecting you. Like, okay, when you boil it all the way down, like, yes, I'll agree with you, right? However, there's levels to this shit. This guy tried to mess with you. It was obviously like, and when I say mess with you, not mess with you as in poke fun at you, but mess with you as in like engage with you. You can take that personally. Even if you feel disrespected by that, there's a way to handle that. It is not beating a man to death. Like that, there's lines in life, people. And I saw some people, even some people who I like, who are like, oh man, like, I don't want anybody getting sent to prison over this. He's just a kid. Hopefully they let him walk. No. Bullshit. You're over 18. You're a grown ass adult. And if you don't know or understand that responding by beating someone's grandfather within an inch of their life is too far, I don't care how old you are. Like, everyone knows that is not an appropriate response. If he killed your younger brother, this is a different conversation, right? Like, if this man assaulted your family, I might have a different opinion on it, right? But this guy like cracked a beer can on your head, and he invited you to come on his wrestling show, and you were supposed to win the wrestling match over him. He was taking the L to you, right? It was supposed to be fun and games. You were supposed to be involved. Completely. I mean, like, saying that's not an appropriate response isn't even scratching the surface. And I do not understand how many people out there are actually like clapping and cheering this man on, because it's despicable. You cannot respond in that matter. Now, if you want to say I needed to get one back or something like that, you know what I mean? If you punched him once, like, okay, like, now we're talking like appropriate level response. He did something you didn't like. Now, and let me just wind this back here. Should have happened in the moment, right? Like, should have happened on site. As soon as you start premeditating this shit, these are criminal offenses. Some guy hits you, you hit him back. Some guy shoves you, you shove him back. It's like that's emotions. That's no, I got to stand up for myself. That's self-defense. Those are all things that can be defended. But as soon as something like this happens and you go home and you plot the man's downfall and then you assault him 1 million times what he did to you on the flip side of this thing. Yeah, Jeff said, Jeff used a word that I really, really like here. It's cowardice. That's coward shit. That's like when you jump somebody with 5 buddies. Like, if you're gonna stand up for yourself, stand up for yourself. But like, don't take the coward's way out. Duck, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one because that's not what it's about. I think I know what you're referencing when you say fatigue is real, and do not get what I'm saying twisted. This has absolutely nothing to do with race, and I very much oppose that statement. So nobody confuse where I stand on this. That is not what I am saying. This is an isolated incident between 2 human beings. One of them made a very wrong choice, and the color of their skin has absolutely nothing to do with my critique of their actions. I want to be straight and clear on that so nobody mixes that up. And that's all I'll say on the matter. I do hope that he gets what's coming to him. I hope he gets legally prosecuted. And I frankly think someone who's unstable like that needs to be behind bars for a very long time. I also hope that the wrestler fully recovers. And I hope he and his family are okay after all this. But just a tragedy, man. Just an absolute. And can you believe, like, that's the kind of shit? Why is it that every single time the UFC has a week off, this is the kind of stuff that happens? Something monumental just explodes, and everybody's got the worst thing to talk about. And Heathcliff, yeah, you will get banned from my chat. We're not doing that shit. Understand? I'm going to delete that comment. You will get one more opportunity. We're not doing that shit. This is not a race thing. Absolutely not. And not in my chat. We will not stand for that. Let's get into the recap of UFC Shanghai, because I was exhausted before, but now I'm pissed off. So, guys, if you're here with me, do me a favor, hit that like button. Please get subscribed. I promise you, the show is not normally this heavy, right? Usually this is the place to laugh stuff off and have fun. Talk about our favorite sport, gamble and degenerate out on our favorite sport a little bit. That's what we do here. So normally this is not what we're talking about, but hey, slow news day, right? We're going to recap UFC Shanghai and not really do much else on the show. So we might as well talk about the biggest news of the day. Let's get into it. UFC Shanghai. I will admit to you guys that I didn't have the best situation going. It started at midnight my time. I thought it started at 2 a.m. my time. So my plan was I was coming home from hanging out at my father-in-law's house, and unfortunately was a little later getting home than I meant to be. So I did the undefeated post weigh-in show on Friday, very late at night, and I was going to go to bed, get a couple hours worth of sleep, and then wake up, maybe miss the first 1 or 2 fights, right? I wasn't going to get up at 2 a.m., but I was planning on getting up right around 4, maybe 3, 4 o'clock, something like that, and watch the majority of the fights. That was my plan. But then it turns out the fights are getting started at midnight. I didn't get done podcasting until like 10 p.m. And by the time I put my picks up and stuff like that, I got my bets locked in. It was already like 10:30, 10:45 that I was like, fuck, like it's an hour before the fight starts. What do I do? I'm too old at this point and have way too much going on in the personal life to pull an actual all-nighter that would have just ruined me. So I couldn't sleep. Like, it's like a kid before Christmas. Even though it's a shitty UFC Shanghai card, it's not even a pay-per-view or anything like that, I still love MMA and I love gambling on fights. So I was like, I've got to go to bed. And I'm laying there, and it's one of those things where, like, you just can't get comfortable. It doesn't matter what you're listening to. I put Futurama on in the background sometimes. I'm like, I just need something I've heard a million times to like relax and chill and fall asleep to relax. And I couldn't for the life of me relax. So I was like, fine, I guess I'll watch UFC Shanghai then. So I guess I'm pulling an all-nighter. I got through about the first 2 or 3 fights and then I fell asleep. So I'm gonna have to like go back through and rewatch a lot of these fights at some point. I ended up waking up halfway through the Aljo fight for the final 2 fights. So that's the perspective you guys are getting here this week. We can talk through a couple of the first couple fights and the ones that I did go back and like, pick through a little bit, but I do not have full memory of UFC Shanghai. I'll just tell you guys that right now. Nigel Lee, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you being here. Quan, I am not going to have any contender series picks, at least on this show. I might have contender series picks or plays for you tomorrow, but like I said at the top of the show, if you're just joining us now, my grandpa's back in the hospital. I have not had time to do any research, so it's going to be a short show. We'll recap UFC Shanghai. Not going to be a long podcast tonight or anything like that. No betting, no picks or anything. Yeah, Dizzle saying it was 3 a.m. West Coast. Dodge some bullets there. Yeah. So I thought I had another 2 hours of sleep that I could get before the fights got started, but unfortunately I did not. Dream knows what's up. If you like Futurama, you know ball. It's a good show. That's a good show. So first fight of the night, guys, I got to kick myself here. I got to kick myself so freaking hard. We've got Dair Nurgajai and our man Uran Salty Balls Sadabaliev, and I should have just smashed Uran. This is part of my problem. I make friends with people who are smarter than me. I bring guests on the show who are better gamblers than me. That's the point, right? I want you guys to get the most accurate, the best information. And even when I can't provide you the best information or breakdowns or bets, I want to bring somebody on who can, right? Like I'll be the entertainment. That's fine. I'll be the host. I'll make you laugh. Listen to them, not me, because I'm not the best gambler in the world. But when that happens, sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I'm right. And I end up getting swayed by these people who I think are, or who I know are smarter than me and better gamblers than me, right? And Dair Nurgajai was like the buy low spot for all the sharps this week. And you had Uran opening up as a massive favorite, and this line just crashed. And I'm sitting here going, what am I missing? What am I missing? Dair got completely fraud checked in his UFC debut. We haven't seen many people get fraud checked that hard ever. Like it was one of the worst we've ever seen. And even if he's better than he showed in that fight, I still think this Uran guy is going to beat him. And then we watch the weigh-ins, and Uran's fucking huge. He's way bigger than Dair. I'm like, what am I missing? It got all the way down to damn near even money. Like, how did I miss cashing in huge on Uran Salty Balls? I can't believe I let my guy Salty Balls get off like that. And we are going to not get a good number on him next time, because that was a wake-up call entry to the UFC. People are going to know who Salty Balls is the next time he gets a fight announced. So he's probably going to be a minus 300 favorite next time, and I missed the minus 105 that I could have gotten to fade one of the biggest frauds the UFC has seen in a long time. So really frustrated at myself on that one. I did give a shot at the turkey hair transplant parlay this week, and frankly, I actually wasn't that far off. I had some pretty spicy takes in that parlay that ended up coming through. As you can see, though, we did not book the ticket, right? So no hair transplant for your boy. We didn't cash that one. But the first leg, my whole thought was like, I'm going to shoot for the stars on this thing. I'm going to go big or go home. It's either going to be over on the first fight of the night, or we're going to be live for a massive score. And we were live, boys. We were live. We had Dair Nurgajai by sub at plus 800 to start the parlay. And now I'm just going, why didn't I do my usual thing where I bet the money line and then do a sprinkle on the method of victory for this one? Because I could have gotten like a 2-unit win on Uran and then like a 4-unit sub cash. Kicking myself. That one's going to haunt me for a long time. It really will. But Uran rolled. It was easy peasy. And frankly, guys, it was hilarious. He tried to hit the same exact Kimura that Dair lost to in his last fight. The fact that this guy can't defend that move is hilarious. And it gets even worse from there. Uran then hit him with the Ezekiel. Like 2 submissions that should not work at this level. He almost got the first one, and he got the second one. It's like Dair does not know what he's doing grappling. Just zero knowledge whatsoever off of his back, apparently. I'm looking forward to see what Uran does next. This dude's good. This dude's good. I got a fanship here going. I like me some salty balls. Speaking of salt dirt. What's up, buddy? Good to see you too. Dream saying CLV curse strikes again. Had Dyer plus 150. Bro, that's just. I was talking to somebody last week, the week before. CLV in MMA is cursed, like straight cursed. And someone was telling me that they think the reason for that is because usually the reason for the mass line moves is not necessarily inside information or sharp information or wrong betting lines. It's usually hype. It's usually a rumor. It's usually something that gets spread that's not necessarily true. And because of that, everybody piles in. And then when everyone piles in, obviously the line moves because of how much money is coming in. But it's not good information in MMA causing that line move, like in other sports where if you get reverse line movement or something like that on a spread in football, it's because somebody somewhere fucking knows that the starting center for the Eagles is not going to be in the game. So the line moves because the inside information has leaked to a select few people with deep pockets, right? Like that's what does it, not actual information. So that's where in MMA, it's still niche enough that the wrong people are moving that number. So something we just got to be aware of going forward. Long Zhao and Yu Sung Yu, man, this one was rough. So I picked you in the initial breakdown on Monday. Over the course of the week, I kind of flipped to Long Zhao, thinking he's probably actually the side here. It was a close fight. I was definitely kind of fuzzy-eyed at this point, not really all the way locked in. Didn't have a bet on it or anything like that. But I felt like Long Zhao was very clearly winning this fight. I thought he was. I thought it was I know it was a round 1, round 3 thing where round 2 was the swing round, right? You won the first round. Zhao won the third round. The second round is what it came down to. But as the fight went on, Long started getting higher volume going off, and those rolling elbows that he was doing in the pocket, those were amazing. Those were fantastic. But it turned into a brawl, which is what Long needed to win that fight. And I just felt like the pace, the pressure, and then, of course, the hometown advantage, right? The crowd going off and stuff like that. I really thought they were going to give that fight to Long. 29-28, Yu Sung Yu. I disagree with the decision. Like, yeah, it was a close fight. I called it a robbery on Twitter, and I immediately was like, yeah, shut up. Like, I know it's a close fight. You're not supposed to call those robberies. Shut up. I'm calling it a robbery. They should have given Long Zhao the win in his hometown with the crowd going nuts, with him putting up volumes, doing the crazy stuff he was doing in the clinch. Like, I thought Long deserved the win. All right. So I think they got that one wrong. Thankfully, I didn't have a bet on it or anything like that. But just like I talked about before, when I flip flop like that on a fight, I am absolutely not going to be putting my money on it. Yijia and Weston Wilson. Oof. Oh my Lord. Like, Weston Wilson shouldn't be fighting in the UFC, guys. I know the UFC is doing this thing where we've got a couple of bums that are just there to like beef up records and stuff like that. And I know, especially with the Road to UFC and the Asian fighters, they're really trying to get them a spot on the UFC roster and need to get them some wins to justify keeping them around. And that's exactly what Weston Wilson was for. But my God, like, if you want to see a dead body, Yijia wrecked this man, which, by the way, was the second leg of my turkey hair transplant parlay. So again, like, I'm sitting here looking at this thing like, fuck. Like, I kept it tight this week, and I could have hit some big scores this week. But you know what? It'll all be good if I can just cash this turkey hair transplant parlay. I really thought we were going to do it, and then it all fell apart. Michel Pereira and Kyle Dawkins. This was the first like real action I had on the card. I almost parlayed up Michel Pereira. I almost parlayed him, and I am so happy that I had a good long think about it and decided not to. Because he was like a minus 250 favorite. And again, this was one of those weird ones where we all agree that Pereira should be just wrecking Kyle Dawkins. If you guys tuned into the Undefeated Post-Weigh-In show on Friday, I told you guys, I was like, I've got a weird feeling about this one. Just like the hairs on the back of my neck are telling me something's off here. And I talked about how, like, you can't find a whole lot of training footage online for Michel Pereira, so I'm not sure how locked in he is, etc. And he's a former 170 guy, so he's not the biggest 185er. And Kyle Dawkins looked fucking huge when they faced off. He was way bigger than I expected him to be. So even though I don't know that I'm like sold on Kyle Dawkins being back, he looks like he's the natural 185er. And you can't ignore the guy's skill set. Like, that's never been the problem, is the guy's skill set, right? The durability really was the issue. And if he's patched any of the defensive stuff up, he's got a shot here. So I was like, you know what? I'll throw 1 unit on Pereira inside the distance because I do think he wins. And if he wins, he finishes, right? Like I have a real hard time seeing this guy win a decision. So 1 unit inside the distance plus 110. I feel comfortable there. And he got starched. Kyle Dawkins blew this man away. Like, whoa. I was like jaw agape, you guys, straight up speechless. I was like, what just happened? I was starting to get tired, starting to doze off. I was fully awake at that point. I was like, I can't believe I just saw that take place. Absolutely nuts. Welcome back, Kyle Dawkins. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but welcome back, Kyle Dawkins. Incredible first performance coming back to the UFC. I'm very curious to see who they match him up with and how he does moving forward because, like I said before, the offensive capabilities of Kyle Dawkins has never been my critique of him. So I'll be curious to see what happens when a fight gets a little bit more extended, when he gets into a dogfight with some of these higher level guys. We'll see if he's still able to hang. But we really might be seeing a resurgence here that we need to pay attention to. Salter saying Dawkins smokes Bo Nickel. I mean, yeah, I think it probably looks a lot like the Reiner to Ritter fight, right? Like he's got the same tool set, theoretically speaking, where Bo Nickel doesn't have anything for Kyle Dawkins on the feet. It's not even close. And then on the ground, he'll be a constant submission threat. So I think he probably could beat Bo Nickel. I think Bo Nickel's got a long way to go. We got to talk about fraud checks, which, by the way, I feel bad that I've got a show planned for you guys, and I keep teasing it. And this was supposed to be the week, but then, thanks, Grandpa. Like I appreciate you inconveniencing me and my YouTube guests going into the hospital. No, I'm kidding, obviously, but like, that was the plan for today. Irakli, yeah, Merab is the GOAT. And apparently he's talking about knocking out Corey Sandhagen in his next fight, which like you guys know I'm Team Merab, right? The only time I ever betrayed Team Merab was when I felt like the line was too wide against Sean O'Malley. And then, of course, my boy Umar. I've been on the Merab train for a long time, but knocking out Corey Sandhagen, though, I don't know if we're buying that. Action Jackson saying Dawkins looks like the next Dan Hooker at middleweight. Yeah, maybe that might be a good way to put him for sure. Hey, what's going on, McMuffin? How you doing? Yeah, he's got the blonde hair and everything. Yeah, Jeff, that's what I'm expecting. It feels like he got his big moment in the sun, and then they're just going to absolutely slaughter him. In the next fight, they'll throw him to somebody who he just is the nuts not to beat. Like I'm with you. I think that's exactly what's coming down the pipe for him, unfortunately. So we'll see. How about it? What's going on? Pleasure to have you here. Oh my God. Rockhold versus Till and Tony versus Salt Poppy. Like, yeah, bring on the chaos that is the break week from the UFC, right? Like it's going to get bonkers in here. So the next fight was Zhu Rong and Austin Hubbard. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where I passed the fuck out. This was the fight that I fell asleep on. I was gone at this stage. I was out cold. So I didn't see this one. Rongju by decision was a leg of my parlay. And this is, like I said, this is where I'm so pissed off at Michelle Pereira because Michelle Pereira inside the distance was the leg that blew the turkey hair transplant parlay. Zhu Rong by decision is what came through in spades. Like I would have been 4 legs check marked on this thing and maybe even sniffing a cash out or something or hedging opportunities or something. I was dead asleep by then, so it didn't matter. But looking back on it, I'm like, damn, man, like I should have done Zhu Rong by decision as a straight. Like that would have been a solid play. Charles Johnson, my dog of the week. And I left my balls in my wife's purse. Talked about how Loner Kavanaugh has been clipped and hurt before. Talked about the height and reach advantage of Charles Johnson. Talked about the late round upside of Charles Johnson. Like we broke this thing down forward and backwards. We knew Charles Johnson was the side. But once again, I got cold feet and I did not do what I needed to do. I did not pull the trigger. Even when he got up to plus 220, I should have pulled the trigger on Charles Johnson. Didn't do it. And I wasn't awake, so I couldn't live bet it either. Just saw the results afterward. What a knockout. What a brutal knock. Like, it's one of the coolest knockouts you'll ever see. Charles Johnson, I hope you're watching, buddy. You know, Energy, that I've been a fan. You know, I've bet on you a bunch of times. And every once in a while, he tunes in on Twitch. We see him pop up in the chat. So I hope you're listening to this one, buddy. I am so happy for you. I am so proud of you. And you just made one of the coolest highlights of the year. Like, I don't know that it's knockout of the year, but like it'll be a top 5 list hit. You know what I mean? That is a sick knockout. I'm so happy for that. And I hope he finally gets some respect. He keeps fraud checking these young kids that are coming up, and I hope they give him another run at the top, because when locked in, Charles Johnson could beat anybody on his best night. He really can. Mahashat and Gage Young. Shout out Spectation Sports, baby. Gage Young gets a big old win here. I'm surprised this fight didn't get ended. This is one of the ones that I'm going to have to go back and replay. I was asleep. I didn't get to watch it. I only saw the result. So I need to actually go back and check this one out. But the way these two guys hit, I fully expected this fight not to go the distance. But I'm excited that Gage Young got the win, because I believe in this kid. I actually think Gage Young is a solid prospect and has some serious upside. Also, considering the relation with Spectation Sports, it is real good to have a prospect like Gage Young getting wins like this on a stage where he's getting noticed. That's awesome, and I'm happy for him. I hope he continues climbing the ladder. On that note, real quickly, you guys, as always, lend me ears for just a couple of seconds, because we got to pay some bills.
Oh, left, right punch, uppercut, lands. Oh my God! David Jones again. There's a straight spot. Somebody gets dropped with another right hand, and that is it. Oh no!
Everybody, please make sure you're checking out Spectation Sports. Double headers basically every other weekend. Tons of regional MMA. Awesome highlights. Fighters you know. Guys that are going to be on Dana White's Contender Series. We've got 3 Spectation Sports athletes that are going to be on Dana White's Contender Series in just the next couple of weeks. So get signed up. Promo code DIEHARD will get you there. Also, we need to make sure you guys know that the Die Hard MMA podcast is brought to you and powered by Cloudbet. The link is in the description below. Promo code DieHardMMA will get you up to a $2,500 welcome rollout bonuses. First bet is a free, no risk bet for you there. You can win up to $2,500 in bonuses when you sign up using promo code DieHardMMA. And maybe the best part about this, they sponsor the PFL. When PFL events are happening, you guys can go to the Fight Center right here on Cloudbet, and you can watch the fights in real time through their platform. So if you're live betting, your instant reactions are going to be plugged in faster than anybody else. You're going to be absolutely up to speed, seconds ahead of the entire rest of the world watching those fights. So make sure you get signed up. It's an awesome opportunity, helps out your boy, and it's one more bullet in the chamber for you guys to have another option, another out, another opportunity to win and make money. Check out Cloudbet MMA. Thank you very much. All right, let's get back to the recap and we'll wrap this thing up. Barry Lang, what's going on? Nigel saying, I can't believe you didn't bet that, Clint. Hit plus 180. The CJ haircut is now goated. Yeah, no. I know, Nigel. So the problem for me was, as you guys know, I'm trying to tighten it up a little bit, right? So I'm not just, gunslinging 24/7 on everything I put my money in these days. And I'm trying to stack some chips. So yes, I know I should have bet Charles Johnson, and under normal circumstances, I would have bet Charles Johnson. But I was really trying to keep it tight, and I decided to just make a couple of very small bets to, lock up a win or take a small L if that was going to be the case. I didn't want to roll the dice big time, especially because I was literally asleep for this fight. That's another part of it, you guys. Like, yes, I'm a degenerate, but I also love sweating the bets. That's half the fun. And so if I'm not even going to get to watch it, I thought I was not going to get to see it. It's like, I'm not stretching. I'm not reaching on stuff that I'm not confident in when I'm not even going to be able to enjoy watching the fights take place. Right. So a couple things got left on the cutting room floor, and I'm pretty upset about it because I would have been right on all of them. Right. So like Gage Young is one that I was looking at. Charles Johnson was one that I was looking at. Wrong by decision is what I was looking at. And then Uran, right? Like I would have crushed this preliminary card if I had just gone haywire. The problem is, you guys know how this goes. If I had a night where I would have just gone off the next week, I couldn't be more wrong. So we need to remember for next week's podcast, if I'm coming out firing on everything next week, buckle up, because it could be a bad week for me. That's just how we do, right? We zig and we zag, win alternating wins and losses. So I need to be careful for next week's event, not to get too cocky. Mick, Muffin, what's up? Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you saying I've talked shit on you on X, but I enjoy you. And you know what, McMuffin? That's the thing. It's all fun. It's all fun and games, right? I have no problem with getting dunked on. I have no problem with a little friendly trash talk. Again, as long as you're respectful about it. We talked about Owen. Owen was at the beginning of the show. He memed the hell out of me. It was hilarious. Like, if you guys want to, if you don't want to tail me, that's fine. If you want to fade me, that's fine. Just don't be a dick about it. And if you want to mess with me, that's also fine. Like, just make sure it's fun. Just make sure it's respectful. We have no issues as long as that's the case. So appreciate you, McMuffin. Thank you very much for the support, and definitely appreciate you being here in the show. And appreciate this more than anything. I appreciate that as well. Grandpa, hopefully going to be okay. And the winning ways will come back around. It's gambling, right? Like it swings and roundabouts. I will eventually find my groove and we'll get this thing back on track for sure. It'll happen. It's taken longer than it should, but man, you know what? Just quick sidebar for you guys. I know I've said this before, but I kind of feel like I need to just kind of reiterate it and say it again here. A lot of this stuff is dependent on outside factors, right? I can promise you guys 2 years ago, best year I've ever had gambling on MMA. Life was good. Life was good. Things were going very smoothly for me. And I think my mental state had a lot to do with the success. I was seeing things very clearly. So like now where I'm second guessing myself and I'm pulling the wrong triggers on things, like even though I have good reads, even though I'm calling half the fight card right, I'm betting all the stuff I got wrong, those kinds of things. A lot of it's mental game. Take care of yourself physically, take care of yourself mentally. And for me, I'm doing a podcast, right? So like that's part of the job. I'm here every single week. I'm breaking down these fights for your guys' entertainment. So it's not like I get a week off. You guys don't have to be that way. If you're at a point where you're losing, where you're struggling, and you need some time off, you need to hit the reset button, you need to step away, take that. Take that. Do that. Because all this stuff going on, like with my grandpa, you know, all this kind of the home life, like when that shit gets stressful for me, I make poor decisions. That's human, you know? And so stuff's been hitting the fan for the last couple of years for me. I'm grinding. I'm continuing on. I'm doing the podcast because frankly I love it and it's a very very good side hustle. So it's something I'm going to keep doing. But under normal circumstances, if you hit that point where you're fatigued and your mindset is not right, step away from the gambling. Just take a couple weeks. It'll do you a world of good. I can't. You can. So just take my advice. Do as I say, not as I do. Anyway, man, the Kiefer Crosby fight. This was one of those ones that as soon as I woke up, somebody hit me up and was like, hey, you need to watch this. Because I missed it live, right? So I went back and I watched it. I could not believe this. This kid, Dailake, just destroys Kiefer Crosby with the most illegal knee you have ever seen. Like Piotr Yan and Aljamain Sterling would have called this thing a foul. It was insane. I am frustrated on this one because I told you guys that Dailake was actually going to hit takedowns on Crosby. And sure enough, he tried, failed, and then he hit a hip toss. So if you bet the plus 300 for a takedown from this kid, you cash that bad boy. So I hope a couple people listen to me on that one. Again, I shouldn't have been scared. Should have been okay betting something like that overnight and waking up to see whether or not it won, because that was a sharp ass call, if I do say so myself. But he hits the takedown. Kiefer gets up. Kiefer's not going away here. And then this kid destroys his face with a knee. The referee comes in, asks him if he's okay. And Kiefer Crosby is one of these old tough leather boot type fighters, right? So he doesn't want to say, no, I can't fight. He doesn't want to say, no, I'm compromised. So the ref looks at him and goes, oh, you're good? All right, let's go. They didn't even give the guy a full minute. Like one of the worst fouls we've ever seen. There is no chance. Even a tough dude like Kiefer Crosby, there's no chance that he is okay after that. They restart the fight. What happens? He gets TKO'd 2 seconds later. Like that was it. It was over. Like there was no way for him. He already didn't have very much of a chance to win that fight. But if he was gonna win it, that chance is gone if he can't take another punch from this young kid. So sure enough, that was pretty much a wrap. Tough, man. I feel real bad for Kiefer Crosby. It's like he got punished for being a fighter. I felt real bad for him. They took 2 points. They deducted 2 points. And it's one of those things where great. Like, I'm glad you enforced the point deduction there. And 2 points, it was an egregious foul, so that makes sense. But deducting points don't mean shit when you win by TKO. Like, that doesn't affect the outcome at all when you put a compromised fighter in there to just get deaded in the next 5 seconds. So tough one, man. Real tough look. And it's funny, actually, because I talked about the round 1 KO, TKO, or DQ for Keeper Crosby. Almost could have gone full Cody Brundage, right? If that was Brundage, he would have hit that button in a heartbeat. Like, those people would have cashed that bad boy. I think he should have, frankly, because it was such a bad foul. He should have taken it. But yeah, Kurt's not even 5 minutes. That's crazy. Like, they should have given him it, even just like 3. Should have just given him more than 40 seconds to recover after something like that. Absolute insanity. Yeah, Barry, and see, that's the problem. That really is the problem, is he's cannon fodder, right? Because he's not great. He's not going to be in the UFC. He doesn't belong. But he still deserved better than that. You know what I mean? Like, they still should have handled the situation better. I'm going to have to rewatch Sumajiri and Kevin Boros. I saw the result that Sue won by decision. That was my prediction as well. I was tempted to play on Kevin Boros, as you guys know, because I want to fade Sumajiri, but talked myself out of that, thankfully. So dodged that bullet there. Gonna have to go rewatch the fight. I don't know anything about it. Sergey Pavlovich and Waldo Cortes-Acosta, very similar. I need to go back and rewatch that one. The Sergey by decision thing actually kind of caught me off guard. I thought he was going to win by knockout, and from what I've heard, just from around Twitter and people talking fights with me and stuff like that after. Geez, now I have hiccups. From what I understand, Sergey Pavlovich did everything but knock out Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Like, the people I talked to were very surprised that he never got the finish, because he should have. Like, oh my God, what was that? That came out of nowhere. I was breathing in at the exact same time the hiccup hit. I am so sorry. Audio listeners, I'm sorry. Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up if I've got hiccups like that. My God. Yeah, Duck, Waldo's got a chin on him. That's kind of the thing, right? He's a solid boxer. He's got good cardio, and he's got a hell of a chin on him. If you're taking power shots from Sergey, hey, maybe he can go further than I gave him credit for. Because if you can hang around in a fight where you're getting pounded on by a guy with the power like Sergey Pavlovich, then yeah, you can probably wear some people down and beat them if that's the kind of hardware you're working with. So maybe I need to rethink a little bit here on Waldo Cortes-Acosta. But that was half of the parlay that I made, which was my parlay where, if I hit this 2-legger parlay, everything else is gravy, baby. I'll profit on the night. So thank you, Sergey Pavlovich, for coming through for me there on that one. And I'm glad I went money line and not KO. So got that one right. The Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling fight. What did I tell you guys? You get a couple of high world class grapplers in there, and they're going to strike with each other. And a lot of people hated this fight because it was a relatively uneventful fight. Aljamain did his thing, hit a couple takedowns, got a couple back takes, right? The spinning elbow was freaking cool. Almost broke Aljo's arm off doing it, but he got the win. And that was the leg that I used. I talked myself out of using Pereira, and I went with Aljamain Sterling instead, which thank God for that. I caught the end of the fight, the last round and a half or so. It got a little fuzzy there at the end. Brian Ortega, one of those guys you just literally cannot count out. And when Aljamain started getting a little tired and slowing down a bit towards the end of that fight, Ortega had opportunities, man. He had some serious opportunities. Aljamain was running for his life towards the end of that fight. You just can't ever count that guy out. It's crazy how he's able to just hang around and stay in there. He's one of those fighters. Brian Ortega is legitimately like a throwback Gracie type fighter where if you just locked that cage and one man walked away, Brian Ortega is going to be the guy that walks away every time, because you can beat him in a fight. But if you can never get away from him until he dies, like, he will find a way to choke you or knock you out at some point. Like, he just has cardio and refuses to die. So yeah, if they had a 50-minute fight, right? Not a 25-minute fight, Brian Ortega wins. At some point, he would have caught Aljo. And then the main event, oh my God, the chaos. This is another one where, again, I'm proud of myself. I'm betting lower volume. I'm keeping it tight. And those results seem to be working for me. But I should have bet Johnny Walker. I sprinkled the Johnny Walker sub. I just did the little sprinkle because, like me and Dan talked about, we think the grappling is the game plan. He's been working with Walter. Walter himself even said he's going to win by sub in like a social media post. So we knew that was the game plan. And the same thing with the Johnny Walker takedowns, like that should have cashed. He faked the high five and just blasted a double leg right out the gates. He was desperate to get that fight to the ground to start. And it's funny, I actually took some heat last week, you guys. I talked about how I am not sold on Zhang Minyang, and I had some people bitching at me in the comments. I had a guy who said he would never watch me ever again because I was downplaying what Zhang is capable of because I said Johnny Walker is chinny, and he felt like I was being unfair to Zhang. Zhang just got his ass whooped by Johnny Walker. Right? Come on back. I said that I was not sold on Zhang. And, it's so funny, you guys. Every time I do this, whenever I'm like, hey, I want to fade this guy, just not yet, just not yet, just not this week. That's the week they lose. Every time. If you guys hear me say that I want to fade this guy, but not this time because they'll beat this guy, they'll get past this guy, that's the week to fade them because I'm not going to pull the trigger and you can, and it just works. Johnny Walker was perfect. He was perfect. It looked like he was scared for his life a couple of times there. It looked like he was very close to getting knocked out a couple of times. Like he barely got out of the way of some of those punches, but he had a spectacular game plan. He got Zhang Minyang tired, and it was just all downhill from there. The guy didn't have a plan B, and Johnny Walker was fully ready and prepared to transition to the leg kick game once Zhang slowed down a little bit. Johnny just stayed out of range and beat the shit out of his leg. And that was beautiful. If you guys missed it at the beginning, someone was asking about this one. I missed a live bet on Johnny Walker by like literal half seconds. I was getting like my bet was locked in. I was ready to click it, and it grayed out on me as soon as that happened because I saw most people were smart and they got in live after round one. I wasn't ready to do that yet because I saw how hard Johnny Walker was failing on his takedowns. I was like, there's still a chance that he gets stuck on the feet at this point and gets sparked. So I wasn't ready to jump in yet. But as soon as I saw the leg kicks starting to take effect, I went, oh, like he's not going to need the takedown. And I started trying to hammer my bet in, and I was just a hair second too late. Zhang falls over backwards, grabs his leg, and the bookies saw what was up too at that point, and they locked it. So I was just barely not fast enough to get in. Pretty solid fight night, though, from what I saw. Anyway, I need to go back and I need to watch Sumajiri. I need to watch Pavlovich again. I need to watch Young and Mahashat. I mean, it sounds like it started off with a bang and there was a bit of a lull in the middle of this thing. But then it ended on a good note. So main card, the last 5-6 fights or so, kind of rough, maybe a little boring. Thank God I slept through them. But the main event was fun and got everybody awake there right at the end to go ahead and end the thing. It was good, man. It was good. Yeah, McMuffin, seriously, I hate how they're that way. Like, it's so tough. The faster stream you can find, no matter what it is that you're live betting, the more beneficial it's going to be to you because they do see stuff before we do, and we've got to kind of project out what's going to happen in order to be successful getting in betting live. And I was just too tired. I was just a little too slow at freaking 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. at that point to be able to pull the trigger on it. But you know what? The whole thing worked out for me because I kind of saw the fights that I wanted to see. And then I was able to fall back asleep after the main event was over. I got a baby win plus 0.57 units or something like that. I mean, so a win is a win. It's small, it's tiny, but I didn't make a bunch of mistakes and fall face first into stuff. And I didn't fall into traps and got out of there with a dub and didn't ruin my sleep schedule. So I'm actually really happy with the way UFC Shanghai went for your boy. And now I get a break week, which thank God for it. That Louis, my friend, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. You guys, you have no idea what that means to me because seriously, it's been a struggle. McMuffin, Louis distracted me with his wonderful and kind-hearted comments. So thank you, Louis. But what I was going to say is, opportunity for the promo here, you guys. If you hate how the bookies are ahead on stuff, that's one of the things that does get fixed using Cloud Bet. So if you guys are live betting on PFL or you plan or intend to bet on PFL live, their fight center, because they are the direct sponsor of PFL, they are locked the fuck in. You will not have that 15 or 25-second delay using CloudBet. So click the link in the description below. Get signed up at cloudbet.com. Promo code DieHardMMA. Thank you guys very, very much. I'm actually going to wrap it on that, you guys. It's been almost an hour, so I'm actually a little bit impressed at how long I've gone. You guys got me all riled up to start the show, so went a little bit longer than I expected it to. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. I've got a couple things I want to do for you guys. We have some shows planned and stuff like that, and unfortunately, the circumstances with my grandfather and just life and family and stuff like that at the moment has pulled me away, so I have not been able to achieve that goal just yet. But I've got a couple things in the works as far as just entertaining shows and stuff like that I'll do for you guys. I'm sorry again that I'm a terrible host and I keep telling you guys it's coming and not delivering. It's happening. I promise you. Just I gotta get this shit sorted out because I might be on a plane in a couple of days. So it'll happen. It'll happen. I promise you. But thank you guys all so much for being here, especially you guys that are diehard enough to be here on a week like this where there's no UFC to talk about. I wish you all luck on Dana White's Contender Series tomorrow because I know you degenerates are going to be making me proud and you'll be gambling on that shit tomorrow as well. Smash the like button, please, you guys. Do me a favor and subscribe if you haven't. We're actually like 4 subs away from hitting 4K, you guys. Did you realize that? It is a grind. It is a slog getting my subscribers up where they need to be on this YouTube channel. So if you guys could help me get to 4,000 subscribers, that would be a huge milestone for me. We are building something here. I was on so many other people's channels for so long. I feel like we could have like an 8 or 10K subscriber fan base here on the Die Hard MMA podcast if I had just stayed on my own channel. But instead, I was always hopping around doing shows on other people's platforms and shit like that. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to hit that 4K mark and then hopefully climb and grow from that point. So if you haven't gotten subbed, you guys do me the favor, please. I just need 4 of you today to go ahead and hit me on that 4K mark. That would be really freaking awesome, man. PL, here's the deal. I'll take off the bucket hat for the rest of today's show, but the bucket hat stays. Like the bucket hat is a staple of the show. There you go. You get the bucket hat off for today, right? Like I'll wrap the show without the bucket hat, but it's coming back. It's coming back. I love the bucket hat. Love you guys. Salt Dirt, my friend. God bless you as well. How about it? Thank you very much, Dream. You guys are absolutely the best. Appreciate the crap out of all you guys. You are freaking awesome. Yeah. That's all I got. There you go. Got the sub. PL, you rock. All right. That's what's up. Oh, man. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourselves. Watch out. MMA social media is always insanity on the break weeks because everybody collectively loses their mind at the same time when there's no UFC. So watch out there, everybody. These streets are crazy. Take care of yourselves. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that, again, not going to get into it here, but I don't necessarily like. So protect yourself, protect your family, make sure you're protecting your mental state, and just be good to each other, guys. Right now, the main thing that we need is we need people being better to each other. If we treat each other better, I promise you all of this is going to get better because we're all going to be respectful to each other. And yeah, that's really what we need right now. So everybody, let's start that charge. Let's do our best. We can be better for each other. We can be better for the people. Grateful dude. Appreciate the crap out of you as well, my guy. You are the best. Thank you guys one more time from the bottom of my heart. Oh, without you guys, I wouldn't be here doing this damn thing. So you guys rock. I'm going to try and get my shit in order. All right, guys. Have a great week. Let's roll.